Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of working on the disc gang. Well, here in part 2 we're going to take the blades all off and we'll get down here to this end washer that needs to be replaced. Right here's the new spool. Right here's the new washer. Still all wrapped up in plastic from when we got it from Case Place. There we go. And like I say, when those begin to waller and wear out, it wears your shoulders down and it wears out. It's almost kind of like the shoulders inside of this spacer as well. It gets them all wallered up, and so the only way to fix it is you replace the washer and the spool. Get all the plastic off here. Nice and shiny. And there we go, finally. You even got the old sticker tag wired into the whole one bolt hole. Alright, that's got that. And like you see, you just take and you put them around there like that. Well, there we go. That's how it sits. Put your bolts through them holes, and that's how it's going to look when you go put the thing back onto it. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, that wasn't too bad. Came off pretty easy. When you're taking things off, always make sure you take it apart exactly how it goes back together. So right there we got the big jam nut. There's a spacer, a washer, this square space that goes up against the blade like that. And just lay those down there and put the first blade on top of that. Then you go back over here. Same thing with these spacers with the bearings. They're directional. And so, get them to pop off like that. Set him up, that way it's going one way like that. That when you pick it up, you put it back on the same way. Alright, well, I'm going to start taking blades off. I'm not going to show you doing all that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, just the regular spacers here. It's stuck. Had to smack it. But yeah, just these regular spacers. These are not directional, and so you can flip them either way. It's not going to hurt anything. Well, just got the last blade pulled off, and that little guy is what I'm after. Yeah, so all that work and hassle to get clear down here to the end, but that's the only way to do it. And he just pops off. And of course this thing here is also directional, which that's pretty obvious. It's kind of like a bowl shape on this side. And that's what the big square end of the draw bolt drops down into. Alright, there it is. Now that one's not worn too bad. However, set the camera down right there. You can see where it's beginning to wear right there. Somewhat up on that side. And so, like I say, when they do that, the only thing you can do is replace it. And there's the new one. And that's kind of watered some right there anyway, so not going to hurt anything. Okay. Popping back on, and we're ready to roll again. However, I do have to pick up some bearings. And I don't think I have enough new spares on hand, because the ones that are on here, back that right there, are beginning to go bad. So I might as well just go ahead and put new bearings into it. Otherwise, this spring, yeah, that means it'll go out right smack dab when we're busy. Okay, it's got this here down at the base of the draw bolt, and that'll have it. In fact, I guess I can go ahead and put the first blade on, but I can't put that spacer until I get my new bearings. It is on there just like that. All right, well, I just got back from Case Place, got my new bearings here, so we're good to go. As you just saw me, I put that first blade on. Of course, already have this brand new washer down here on the end. And here's the first bearing that I got to replace. That top half of the spool, well, he's supposed to come off there anyway. Got some dirt stuck into it. Well, we'll take over here to the vise and work on it. Oh, there we go. Makes a big difference when you have the thing pinched into the vise and it can't go too far. Now, as far as getting that bearing, all that dirt cleaned off there, getting that bearing up and off there, I have a pretty good idea. I'm going to have to take this over and put it in the press. That's usually how I have to take and get them popped out of there. Before I put this in the press, I'm taking a file and going right around the edge of that. Is kind of flared just a little bit, so there's a little bit of a lip stuck out. I think I've got pretty much all knocked off. However, with it being flared like that, it's not going to let it press through that bearing housing. And I've already taken a wire brush and brushed that tube up, so I think now we're ready to go in the press. All right, got the thing set down in there. Get this thing run down, we'll see what happens. Uh-oh, got parts and pieces falling everywhere. Maybe I can set the camera right there. Well, can't sit right there, you're going to get squashed when that press beam comes down. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Well, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Well, so far I've put a lot of pressure down on that thing and it ain't wanting to budge. Well, step 2, maybe getting the torch out and actually cut that thing clear off. Usually I've always put them in the press and they've always popped down. But that one's not wanting to move. Well, first time for everything, I guess. Probably had to get the old smoke wrench out and cut it off. Well, we'll see what this here does. I hit the GoPro. Well, that went pretty easy. Got that outer flange, got to cut that thing off. That's one half. I'll cut the other half off and bring you back in. Cut through the other half that flange. Now you just have the bearing itself inside. So we'll get the torch fired back up here. Well, I got the smoke coming out of the grease hole. Look at that come rolling out of there. We'll jump around to the other side and whack that outer housing too. Okay, shut the torch down. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's got him. Got what little bit of grease left inside burning too, but no big deal. Okay, and that inner race is the part that's hanging. Well, hey, right there you got your either double or triple watt buckshot. And that looks like part of the old grease seal. Yeah, it is. Everything's just a little bit warm. Okay, now the fun job, getting that race cut off there, which it's not that big a deal. I've cut lots of them off. So we'll get fired back up here and get rolling. Okay, well, it's hard for me to try and GoPro, same time I had to cut that off. I wanted to use both hands to hold the torch. That way I kept a lot more steady and didn't go and gouge into that pipe tube. And which I didn't. I'm just cut right through that inner race, and as you can see, I'm getting it separated. So I'll go ahead and get that knocked off there, and we'll be ready to put the new bearing on. Okay, I got you sitting there on the vise. We'll see how long that'll last. Try and get that thing pinched down. Show you just a little bit, getting that, trying to get that thing knocked up off that pipe. With it being cut down that one side, it loosens it up. Well, going slowly. Shaking the old camera around too. getting close to the top. Okay, well, it finally loosened up. There we go. A little warm yet. Get that glove off. There we go. Ah, yeah, that's why it wasn't wanting to come off very well. All the little hard caked dirt and everything else was all packed underneath there. No wonder why it's stuck on there so tight. And I've looked at the other two. Looks over there. They're sitting over there on the forklift. And looks like I may be doing the exact same thing to them also. Get me some sandpaper and a wire brush. We'll clean this here up and pop the new bearing onto it. Take a little sandpaper to that. And there we go. I think this is a 120. The thing I like about this, it's got the holes through it, so stuff goes through and it doesn't load up with a bunch of crap. Okay, I'll go get the new bearing. We'll see what happens. Yeah, let's set him on there. Kind of wants to hang up on some of that scaly junk. And I've already sanded it, and I've wire brushed it, and let's see what happens here. Let's take and put this top piece here on. That fits on pretty light, pretty loose. Give it a good tap. There we go. Almost bottomed out. Now that's more like it. Okay, I think that'll work right there. Okay, I'll sit you up right here. I'll grab the new bearing. And like I said, these here are directional. And so the narrow part or the skinny part of the spacer faces the threads of the draw bolt. The long skinny part faces the end, or the big square, or that new washer piece. I'll slide them right down there like that. It's got a little bit of dirt inside that tube. Kind of wants to hang up a little bit. Huh. There we go. Should grab the wire brush and brush that too. Yeah, there. Getting closer. That draw bolt's got a few burrs on it. Okay, there we go, finally. Down here on the end. Well, and now we're ready to start putting the blades and spacers back on up until we get to the middle bearing. And I'm not going to show you doing all that. It's just like putting that right there on, so it gets kind of repetitive. But tell you what, once I get ready to put the square spacer here on the end, put the big draw nut back onto it and tighten him back up, I'll bring you back in. That way you can see how that's all tightened back down. Well, I got it put back together. I was hoping to show you that, but sure enough, I had some people stop by, and then I couldn't grab the camera when they were here. So anyway, got it put back together, it's just like taking it apart. So I got it sitting here on the forklift. I want to put my new spool on, and this thing will be ready to hang back up on the disc. Okay, you got your two halves, and that is kind of directional as they're going around that washer. It's got kind of like a groove that it sits in. So right there, it dropped in the groove. I'll go ahead and that one bolt, well, I thought anyway, will at least hang on there. Till I can get a nut and lock washer spun onto it. There we go. Okay, and this end bolt that your blade hooks to, there's a groove in there that big square head just drops into, along with that little square bushing. And then once you get those lined up, it should just pinch right down on top of that, just like that. There we go. Okay, now it's ready to start tightening. Well, I'll put these outer two bolts in. We'll be ready to go. Okay, there we go. That's got it drawn together. Yeah, get you down with that blade right quick, but yeah, right there's how that sits. In fact, I'll show you here on the old one. But yeah, there's a cutout, and the bolt head sits in that half, and of course the other half is in this side. And then you got a cutout out here for that square spacer. Go ahead and get these tightened up. Yeah, there we go. Kind of play with that, make sure it's on the shoulders, feels good. I'll go ahead and jump down here on this bottom bolt on the back, tighten it down. There we go. Back up here, this one on top. Outside. The bottom one on the outside. Alrighty, that's got him tightened up. Go back over where we hit them. That's got that. Next thing you want to do is take your blade, put him on out there, and that's the purpose of that square spacer, to go in the square hole of the blade. And now I just got to get the hardware to go over the end. Okay, you got this big washer here that goes over to tighten everything down. And let me get you back off that blade. That way I can show you. You got a square washer that drops down in there first, just like that. And then however many flat washers you need to take up the space. Including a lock washer, I see, which, like usual, it's broke. Yeah, just like that. Now get the big impact. Tighten him up. guys, I'm going to call this an end of the video. You can see we got tightened up, so we're good to go here. Hanging it back on the disc is just like you saw me in part 1, taking it off, so and then no big deal there. So anyway, well hey, take care. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.